Welcome to the Terrible Take, mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our mind. I'm Alex Kozora. The second most shocking moment of Steelers free agency was getting the news nose tackle Tyson Alualu was heading to Jacksonville. The most shocking moment of Steelers free agency was finding out he was actually staying in Pittsburgh. By now, you've heard the news. Alualu initially agreed to a 2-year deal with the Jaguars, but that contract was put on hold after he tested positive for COVID. With 10 days to think things over and recruiting by Steelers teammates and coaches, he changed his mind and took less money to stay in Pittsburgh. The reasons for that, I'm sure, are multiple, and in time we'll get to hear from Alualu. Yes, I'm sure one reason he decided to stay in Pittsburgh is to play for the Steelers organization, to be around teammates he likes, coaches that he knows. Pittsburgh still has a better chance of making a run for the Super Bowl this year than Jacksonville, too. But there's personal reasons for him staying, too. If you're 20-something years old, you're single, leaving for a new city is easy. It's actually kind of exciting. Life is different for someone like Alualu. He's in his 30s, has a family, has kids in school. Going back to Jacksonville, where he spent his first 7 seasons of his career, would have been a familiar place, but it also would have been a big move. And per the reporting, Alualu decided he didn't want to uproot his family and take his children out of Pittsburgh schools. This moment reminded me of former Steelers offensive tackle Tunch Ilkin, who wrote a similar story. In his book, he talked about his one miserable year in Green Bay after the Steelers let him go. Ilkin initially moved his family to Green Bay, but then moved back to Pittsburgh when the Packers cut him a month into the year. When Green Bay re-signed him late in the season, Ilkin moved into a hotel and explained his experience. Here's an excerpt. Quote, "I would go home to Pittsburgh after Monday morning and take the Tuesday night flight to Green Bay. It was weird. I was in this hotel, missing my family, and I was miserable." End quote. Even with 2 teams, the Jets and the Eagles, willing to sign him, Ilkin made the smart decision and retired. I say that to illustrate the human side of the equation. For us, we think about these guys in terms of football players, their on-field value, their scheme fit, and obviously how much money they can make. But they're people, husbands, fathers, community members too. For Alualu, that was most important, and I can't blame him. And from an on-field standpoint, I'm sure glad he's staying in Pittsburgh. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with myself and Dave Bryan every Tuesday and Friday.